Hey, I just subbed a 5th grade class, and as someone with a lot of experience in the classroom and a lot of experience in reading, I just want you to know we should be really afraid about the future of our society.
Please start saying your child's legal name that's on their birth certificate before they start school.
This is our future. Gen Z, your kids cannot read.
Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at something that's been popping up on my TikTok more often, especially during this school year, and that's how difficult Gen Alpha is being in the classroom. Being disrespectful, not wanting to do anything that resembles work, always wanting to just sit on their iPads 24/7, and this has become so bad that I'm seeing many teachers quit and change careers because of this. And if that's what's happening while we're in a terrible job market, you know how bad this has really gotten. We have a lot to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just jump right into it.
I'm gonna tell you all this because your teachers can't, because they'll lose their licenses and their jobs. What are y'all doing with your kids? Your kids can't read. They're not potty trained. They're going into kindergarten, soiling themselves, not knowing how to use the toilet. Just like 1 or 2 kids, okay? It's like 5, 10 per class. Kids cannot sit through a movie. Buy them some pencils and paper and have them write. Oh, but you know, sometimes we just need a break. And like, I don't feel guilty about giving my kids an iPad and putting them in front of the TV. What do you think people did before iPads and TVs existed? This is our future. This is our future. Gen Z, your kids cannot read.
We could go right over to the comments. Parents are too addicted to their own cell phones. The brain is a muscle. We can't have brain rot at age 3. I can't imagine what the consequences are going to be down the road. The creator responds, these elementary school kids all speak in brain rot, nothing but memes. A former teacher, most people genuinely suck at being parents. It's really not rocket science. I don't understand. Now, I don't think being a parent is as easy as that comment says. However, I do wonder why you decide to have kids if you just want them to sit in front of the iPad all the time, just so you're not bothered. Now, I'm not trying to be one of the anti-natalist. I know that community is getting bigger and bigger online right now, and I'm definitely not a part of it, but what's the point of having them in the first place? You're just pointing your kids off to the teacher and they're not learning anything from you. We have a comment from one of you guys right here. I was a teacher for 2 years. What I noticed is parents offsetting their parenting to teachers. Courtesy, manners, and socially acceptable behavior is meant to be taught at home. But now teachers were expected to play parent and teacher. Nope, not playing that game. I'm here to be your teacher, not your parent. And it really sounds like every year that goes by, the horror stories get worse and worse.
Hey, I just subbed a 5th grade class, and as someone with a lot of experience in the classroom and a lot of experience in reading, I just want you to know we should be really afraid about the future of our society. Do you know that every single kid thinks they're going to be a content creator, and when you ask them what their hobbies are, it's all video game and addictive things that they think are hobbies. Hobbies are not that. Hobbies are not addictive things. Hobbies are the things that brought you joy before you were 5 or 6 years old. So maybe it was soccer, maybe it was animals, maybe it was going outside, but these kids don't know those things about themselves. Quite frankly, I don't even think they know when they have to go to the bathroom. I don't even think they know when they're hungry. They just want to get back onto their devices ASAP. And I'm not blaming their parents. I mean, as a society, I think we should have had better parameters and better education about this 15 years ago, but we didn't, and here we are. So here's what you need to do. You need to set parameters with your child today. This is life or death. What job do you think they're going to get if they can't put their phone down for 5 minutes? What job do you think they're going to get if they can't even write their name legibly? What job do you think they're going to get if they can't spell the word caring and they're 11 years old?
Okay, so there's a couple things to talk about, but we go over to the comments real quick. I blame the adults, but no one wants to talk about that. I'm not blaming their parents. I am. I'm 37 and I know I have major issues with phone usage. Can't imagine this problem developing at 13 or 14. It's younger than that, to be honest. We're seeing it at 5, 6, 7 years old. But earlier in the clip, she talked about everybody believes they're going to be some sort of content creator in the future. Gone are the days dreaming about being an astronaut or a professional athlete. Now everybody wants to stream Roblox or Fortnite or whatever game's going to be out in the future. I personally think that this type of content does have a shelf life. I don't believe that you'll be watching me 10 or 15 years down the road. Something else will pop up. The landscape will be very different, and of course, it'll be wildly oversaturated if there's this many kids wanting to make videos. I'm not trying to crush all of their dreams, but if they're all making content, who's going to be watching? The other thing she was talking about, jobs in the future, would be very difficult if if you're basically illiterate, on top of the fact that we are currently seeing a heavy change in the market with the use of AI. It already looks like it's going to be much harder to find entry-level jobs for any of the people getting out of college right now. What is it going to look like when AI keeps advancing in, again, 10 or 15 years? It's going to be really rough. Another couple comments from you guys here. iPads are our generation's lead paint toys. As dramatic as this sounds, these parents are creating literal monsters. And they barely know their own names.
Parents, I am a kindergarten teacher, okay? Please start saying your child's legal name that's on their birth certificate before they start school. Do you know how many children do not know their name when you're calling them on the roster because you've been calling them little man, princess, somebody? Call them by their legal name if they're going to start school.
I had a mother come say to me, call him Poppy, he listens better. Ma'am, he's in 3rd grade. Honestly, I never wanted to be a teacher in the first place when I was growing up, but I truly don't know how people deal with it in today's world. Another comment here, my mom worked in education for 50 years. Now she's semi-retired, but still gets asked to do short-term contracts in classes that are challenging, mostly covering teachers on stress leave or ones who dropped to part-time because they're not coping. The youngest students now often can't hold pens, use scissors, concentrate, self-soothe after minor playground disputes, regulate their emotions, and are increasingly violent. It's common for a lot of the older children to also come to school tired and often unclean because they're on their devices from the second they get up, so they run out of time to get ready or don't focus on proper self-care. She's commented that the common behaviors displayed these days were considered warning signs of child neglect in years past, but it's just common because everybody's online now, doesn't matter how young you are. But going back to the statement that they're increasingly violent as well, I also saw a clip pop up on my For You page. I never thought I'd be one with a video of a destroyed classroom, and here I am staring at the insane destruction of my classroom by one student, and it's just completely trashed. And as we'll see a little bit later in this video, there are almost no consequences for this either.
I'm sorry, but somebody's got to say this. These kids cannot be quiet. Like literally, physically cannot be quiet. And it's not just talking that's the problem. The just noise in general. It is constant no matter what I'm doing. I could be doing direct instruction. They could be working with partners by themselves, whatever. It is constant. Whether it's this or the tapping or just the random noises that they make all the time, 6, 7, 6, 7, like, why can you not be quiet? Like, the overstimulation is just to a max. I can't even deal. Not only that, they've got the stupid fidget toys that are making noise. It is constant. What are we doing to these kids that they just can't sit there and just be quiet for even 10 minutes at a time? I truly don't understand. Please help. Send help.
So how long ago was the fidget spinner craze? I feel like it was a while ago, 7, 8 years maybe? But that's all it really was at the end of the day, a craze, a trend. But now it seems like these kids genuinely need it just to function in society. They can't sit still because they're constantly watching content that many people call the Mr. Beastification of all content, loud in your face, constantly moving, sound effects, just ways to keep your attention as much as humanly possible. So if there's any dead air, whether it be a video or in real life, they can't handle it. So they start buzzing or tapping, playing with their pens, anything. I feel like that would drive me crazy. And like I said before, no matter how much they misbehave, there's no consequences.
How are teachers doing it? I just want to know how they're doing it. Why are middle schoolers so bad? I work as a permanent sub at a middle school. So I'm permanent, therefore I work full time. I'm contracted. I work every single day, all school day at the same school. Today was the hardest day I've had. I almost walked out of the class. I was so overwhelmed and overstimulated. And the craziest part is the teacher was there. I was subbing for a teacher's assistant. So I was in the class assisting another teacher. And it was my first time in this teacher's class. And this person had absolutely no control over these 6th graders. Like, these students were throwing things, hitting each other, singing random songs out loud. They just wanted to hear themselves talk. They were walking across the room, over the desks, and on the chairs, and everybody was talking over each other. It was crazy. And the teacher told me that they had given up. They just given up. And even with the terrible behavior, this teacher still took the class outside because that was like the incentive. Oh, if you're good today, I'll let you go outside like all the other classes did. That class was horrible. The worst class that I've been in that entire school. And this teacher still let the class go outside.
So it really sounds like they will never learn. There's no consequences, no punishment. You'll just be able to get away with anything. And I know part of the reason why this happens is that if one of these kids go to their parents and say, my teacher today made us stay in school, or maybe I got detention during recess, something along the lines of that. No matter how bad the kid was and rightfully deserved the punishment, the parent will now go to the school, start yelling at the principal, and then everybody ends up getting in trouble. So you can't discipline these kids anymore, and they'll just run wild. And every time you start looking at the grade level under the kids that are a problem already, it just seems to get even worse.
iPad kids are out of control. Teachers all over the globe are reporting that Gen Alpha, which are the kids raised with this new age technology, are performing 2 times lower than their grade level.
I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
They can't read or write properly. Not only that, but the rate of teachers quitting has never been higher due to Gen Alpha's terrifying behavior, which is aggressive and defiant.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life.
This is a direct result from unlimited technology access, poor values, emotional neglect, and lazy parenting. Because shoving an iPad to a kid's face to distract them from their emotional needs was the worst thing you can do for a human's development. But now we're seeing this whole technology thing through. Now these kids have no creativity of their own, their attention spans have dropped to 1 second, and they have unrestricted internet access. Do you know what inappropriate content can do to a kid's brain? It can impair them for life.
And imagine seeing all of that while you're 7 years old. Oh man. Another comment from you guys here. One of my best friends is a kindergarten teacher. She told me that she could instantly tell who's being raised on an iPad and who isn't. iPad kids have no idea how to play with toys, have no sense of imagination and creativity. It's sad and scary. I also think a lot of parents don't realize how hard it is to be a parent, so they're shoving an iPad in their kids' faces because they don't want to actually parent. Like I was talking about earlier, why did you choose to have one in the first place then? And there are a lot of clips online of teachers just breaking down.
I will be so real right now. Teaching is not easy. Kids are mean. I knew going into teaching that every day was not going to be easy. Every day is a challenge in some way. And that's a big reason why I wanted to teach. But I hate the fact that I'm sitting at my desk crying for an hour after work because of the way some of these kids think they're just entitled and straight up don't care about a consequence. They don't care about an incentive. They will laugh in your face. And it's hurtful because you'll go to the store and try to buy them $85 to $100 worth of gifts for them to shop. An entire cart full. And they don't care. They're not grateful. They want gifts and incentives for doing the right thing, for everything. If you sit there and ask, hey, turn to page 10, they're asking you, what do I get for it? I'm sorry, what?
Now, I think a lot of the clips that we've seen, most people are thinking of middle schoolers and lower. They're the ones being super disrespectful, very nasty, especially because they're being raised on iPads more than anybody else. But they're not the only ones as well. High schools are having problems also.
So I'm a substitute teacher, and I've been at this school for like a month and a half now, so I know how they operate. And to be fair, not all kids are like this, but the disrespect, like they don't know how to put things away, they don't know common decency. Like, why are you trying to cheat right in front of me? Like, okay, and listen, I wasn't the best student, like growing up either. I never cheated, but like, you know, it's just like, do you think I don't see you? Like, my desk is here. I can see everything you do. They're glued to their phones. They're either brain rotting here or they're playing like Brawl Stars. It's fantasy season, so they're looking at their lineup, whatever. But I shit you not, like, it's just do your quiz first. Like, one of the kids was just like playing a game. He wasn't even trying to cheat. I'm like, bro, like, I'm not your babysitter. Like, can you clean up after yourself? And keep in mind, that was organized this morning. Call me old, call me dated, but I just do not understand this generation.
It is funny to see more and more of my generation calling ourselves boomers now because of how different we think, but there will be a rude awakening when they get into the real world, either graduating from high school or waiting till they're out of college and getting into this terrible job market. They're going to have a real tough time making a living. It's a shame because they're so tech savvy and the potential is there, but then I see things like this. I'm 25 in college, and the amount of ChatGPT and subscriptions these students pay to cheat their way through the classes is concerning. The amount of ChatGPT is actually insane. I was a writing tutor, and you could just kind of tell when they used AI, or they would pull it up right in front of me. Then what are you here with me for?
I teach music lessons, and I'm a little bit concerned about my younger students, my Gen Alpha students, I would say under 10, maybe 12. I am not speaking to their academic performance or their intelligence. All of them are very, very bright. I am not speaking negatively toward them. I'm just relaying my thoughts and observations. I feel like my young students do not have the background knowledge that I would expect them to have at their age and grade level. So here's an example. I had a student a while back. I was doing a vocal warm-up with them, and they're probably about 9 or 10 years old, and I was going to teach them an exercise that involves the months of the year in order. So when I started to teach them this exercise, they go, "Oh, I don't know the months. I don't know the months in order."
My 15-year-old sister-in-law still counts on her fingers for math and can't tell me anything about history or geography. And I know she was basically saying it without saying it. You know, they're all very bright, and I'm not talking about their intelligence, but they don't know the months in order. What am I even supposed to say about that? You would think that this is just a straight-up lie for attention or views, but when you see hordes of these types of videos being uploaded every single day, they really can't all be lying.
The way that students are able to get away with talking to teachers.
Man.
One person sent me a story about how she literally had a kid just come up to her and say, "Hey, I know that this is my grade, but I think that my grade should be boosted." And she's like, "No." And she was pregnant at the time, and just trigger warning for anyone. Like, he literally, "You're not going to you're not going to raise my grade? Fine, I hope your baby dies." And she like just said that and walked away.
Oh my
and
God.
literally reported to admin, nothing happened, just nothing happened, and that's just supposed to be expected to be fine.
Again, zero consequences for these kids. What is it going to look like when they do have consequences in the real world? They won't be able to handle it. Some of the comments here, this is a parent problem. I was more scared of the consequences at home than I was at the school. I knew for a fact my parents would know before I got home. These kids didn't raise themselves like this. I just love the fact that schools say they have a zero bullying policy, yet when said bullying is reported, nothing is done, and often the one being bullied is the one that's punished. Another comment here, my sister's a teacher. She says that more than half the time, the parents are worse than the kids.
I felt bad for elementary school teachers for a long time, since they've been having to deal with the repercussions of parents letting iPads raise their kids, but it has gotten so much worse this year. All of these teachers are having to deal with iPad kids, plus the fact that their parents think their kids are special because they're COVID babies. And I don't know about everywhere, but at least where I live, school literally started like less than a week ago, and I have already seen like 5 different viral TikToks of kindergarten parents complaining about the teachers. The first video I saw about a parent complaining about the child's teacher was the mom that was mad that her son's teacher didn't get like special decor for the room, and there wasn't a fun rug, like there wasn't fun decorations, and she didn't have a fun rug for them. Which, like, in theory I understand, because it's like you don't want your child to spend like 5 days of their week in a classroom that's literally just like barren and sad. But what she doesn't like take into account is the fact that teachers do not get decorations supplied to them. They have to buy them themselves. She's getting mad saying like, there's no colorful rug for my son to sit on.
And that's the kind of parents you have to deal with starting in kindergarten. Everybody thinks their kid is the best. They are the one. They're more special than anybody else. On top of the COVID comment, COVID was 5 years ago. Anything still affecting children now is the parents' fault. 2020 babies are a different breed, yes, because they had no socialization for the first 2 years, and after that, all they got was an iPad. I can't imagine what this is going to look like in 2030 or 2035. Maybe I'll make another video then, if YouTube's still a thing and if anybody's still watching. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.